Welcome back to another episode of Tearing Up Your Bible. Today we're going to be talking about how to add blank pages in your Bible. Now we're going to start off with just a simple blank page for the purpose of taking notes right here in the back of your Bible. In future episodes, we're going to show you how to add other things into your Bible using this exact same technique. So what we're going to be using is just a simple piece of printer paper, just 8.5 by 11 printer paper. And we're going to go ahead and cut that down to size using a pair of scissors and a ruler to measure to make sure we get the right size. Now, to glue it in, the easiest thing that I found is a glue stick. There are other glues that you can use that will be equally as effective, but I find a glue stick is the least messy of all the options. So we'll show you how to use that in just a moment. So the reason I have this opened up here is that I find that this is the best place to go ahead and add a blank piece of note paper. I want to point out just one simple thing, that whenever a publisher puts in the end of the Bible, right here at the very back, they often glue the last page of the map just slightly into the cardstock here on the back. And so to maximize the space for the note paper, I'm going to do it before the maps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure carefully to make sure that I have the right size paper. And I want to suggest that you go ahead and measure the height of your page first. This is going to be the easiest thing to measure and therefore the easiest thing to cut to size. So I went ahead and did that, and this is a 9¼ inch Bible, and so I've cut my page exactly to that height. So this page fits perfectly. So the next thing is going to be to measure the width of the Bible. And this one's a bit tricky because now you're running into the gutter to measure. This is one of those times it's best to go ahead and measure a little bit bigger than you need probably. Cut first, see if it fits, and if it doesn't, then go ahead and cut a little more off. I know the old adage is to measure twice, cut once. This is a bit harder to do that. So I went ahead and did that, and here is my paper ready to be glued in. Except there's one problem. Almost all publishers have rounded edges to the page of their Bible, and the paper that I just cut has square corners. Now, if you don't mind that, you can go ahead and glue that in, and those corners will stick out just a little bit. Or you can grab your pair of scissors and you can just quickly and neatly trim the edges of your page. They don't have to be exact, just something that looks okay and doesn't stick out from your Bible so that these extra pages blend in very neatly. Something like that will probably suit just well. Looks like it fits pretty well. So the last thing to do is to go ahead and glue it in, and this is where the glue stick comes in. Now you can probably tell that I've already done this a couple times. And the easiest way to do that is just to go ahead and run the edge of your paper right along the glue stick. And I would go ahead and do that a couple times. It's not going to be a problem of having too much glue. You would rather have more glue than less, especially on a glue stick. You're not getting a ton of glue on here to start with. So after you see a little bit of the glue stick appear kind of in all parts of the edge, then it's simply just a matter of sticking the page in as neatly and as carefully as you can to get that to line up. Once that's in there, you're going to want to go ahead and close and kind of press firmly right there on the edge. This being a glue stick will not take a long time to dry, but before you put any real pressure or tug on it at all, you want to give it a couple minutes to go ahead and set. And as simply as that, you have a new blank note page at the back of your Bible. Now this is going to be a pretty amazing technique as we move further into some of our studies of particular books, and I'm excited to see what we can do with adding blank pages and or charts, as we'll talk about in a little bit. If you do not have maps in the back of your Bible, you can purchase a variety of of Bible map packages and add those back here using this exact same technique, but with map pages that you can cut out and put directly in as well. Now, I have one word of warning, and that is your publisher has made a text block that holds a certain amount of pages. Now, all of us probably have stuffed pages in our Bibles over time, and you realize that your spine hasn't cracked open immediately. There's a little wiggle room to add in a few of these blank pages, just as we have done today, but there is a certain limit to how many you can do. So I would not just go ahead and grab your glue stick, grab your paper, and start stuffing a bunch of pages in the back. Eventually you're going to overwhelm your binding, and that's going to split open on you. So I would say that you want to use this technique sparingly. Most likely less than 30 pages is going to be what your binding is able to hold. And so whenever you decide to go ahead and put a couple pages of blank notebook paper in the back, or if you're going to be adding things in as we're going to talk about later, you want to go ahead and plan that out a little bit to make sure that you are not overwhelming your binding. But this is going to be a simple technique to go ahead and make more note space in your Bible. It works really well, and the more times you run your paper through your glue stick, the better it's going to stick. And we'll talk about how to use this technique to further effect a little later on in our video series. I hope this has been helpful. I hope that you are able to use this and to have more note-taking space inside of your Bible. And Lord willing, we'll see you next time.